Have you ever wondered about what goes on in your brain when you make a decision? Well, I have. Hi, I'm Ori, and my capstone project is about decision making. Let's start with the basics. The brain is a 3-pound organ that controls basically everything you do or think. It is split into 3 main parts. The cerebrum is the largest part of the brain. It is divided into 2 hemispheres. Each hemisphere has 4 lobes. The frontal lobe controls reasoning, planning, speech, movement, emotions, and problem solving. The parietal lobe controls movement, orientation, recognition, and perception. The temporal lobe controls auditory perception, memory, and speech. The occipital lobe controls visual processing. The cerebellum is located under the cerebrum and controls muscle movements. Have you ever heard the expression, "you never forget how to ride a bike"? Well, you can thank the cerebellum for that because it helps learn movements that require practice. The brainstem connects the 2 parts to the spinal cord, allowing them to send signals to the rest of the body. It also controls things you don't have to think about, such as heart rate, sleep, and breathing. My interviewee was a researcher at the University of Haifa named Uri Hertz. According to Dr. Hertz, decision-making is about how we make choices or how we choose between different options. This could be very simple things like what we eat for breakfast or what clothes we wear. The main part of the brain that is associated with decision making is the ventral striatum. Other parts of the brain that specialize in social content are the temporal cortex or the peripheral cortex. These parts work, interact, and send signals to with one another to make a social decision. There is a big difference between how people make decisions for themselves and how people make decisions for others. Most of the time, when people make decisions for others, they feel more sympathetic to others. There is an experiment where when you're choosing for yourself, you could choose between a little bit of money for you, but also a little bit of shocks, or lots of money, but lots of shocks. You can say, well, I'm quite tough. I can take like 10 shocks. You know how tough you are. You can make that decision without any worries. But now let's say you're choosing for someone else. The options are now a little bit of money for you, but a little bit of shocks for the other person, or a lot of money for you, but a lot of shocks for the other person. And now, most people would say, well, I don't know this person. I don't know how tough they are. You may not know this person. You don't know their strengths. And most people, like I said before, are sympathetic. Therefore, we choose the option that would cause as little suffering for the other person as possible. A little bit of money for you and a little bit of shocks for them. I think it's very interesting to see how if you add one person into the scenario, the decision a person has to make becomes totally different. I hope you now know a little bit more about decision making than you did before. For more information, check out my blog at blogs.scarsdaleschools.org/ocottrell28. Thank you.